Good morning, students. Today we are going to dissect the internal structure of the testes. Now, before I give a cut to the testes, a longitudinal cut in the testes from upper pole to the lower pole, passing through the epidedymis, let us just review the parts of the testes. This is the upper pole or the upper end, and this is the lower end. This is the anterior border, and where the epidedymis is attached here, it is the posterior border. Thus, the epidedymis, which is a comma-shaped structure, is attached on its posterior border or onto the posterolateral side where there is a sulcus is present, or the sulcus of the epidedymis between the testis and epidedymis, and this always face onto the lateral side. So this is the lateral surface and this is the medial surface, upper pole, lower pole, anterior border, and then this is the posterior border. And if we hang the testis like that, we will get the side of the testis. So this testis belongs to the right side. Now this is comma-shaped epidedymis, and this is the body of the testis is here. Now from the epidedymis, that is from the head, body and tail, then the tail will give ultimately the vas deferens, which will run in the spermatic cord. Okay, it will run. Now, this at the head of the epidedymis, this is the appendix of the epidedymis is here. Now, this testis is covered by the tunica albuginea, which we will see after giving a cut here. But then the testis and part of the epidedymis are also enclosed in a serous sac called as the tunica vaginalis. So this part which is covering to the testis is the visceral layer, while the parietal layer of the tunica vaginalis will be covering to the coats of the testes or spermatic cord, that is to the internal spermatic fascia deep to which. Now this sac of the serous sac of the tunica vaginalis is a prolongation of the peritoneum, which is brought to the covering of the testes during the descent of the testes. Okay. Now with this brief introduction, we will learn the internal structure of the testes. Testis, as I said, is covered by the tunica albuginea. Here I am giving a longitudinal cut into the testis just as to see the tunica albuginea and the structures which are present deep to this tunica albuginea, which is a coat of the connective tissue, the collagen fibers covering to that of the testes. So here I will not give this cut into the epidedymis, but here I will give the cut, okay, right up to the posterior border of the testes. Okay, this was the anterior border, posterior border where epidedymis is present. Okay, so I am giving this cut here into the testes. Okay, and then we'll show you the cut section, a longitudinal cut section of the testes here. Okay, just a minute. Okay, now this is the longitudinal cut section which I am giving here. I will go little deeper so as to reflect the two parts on either side, that is the medial and lateral surfaces will be reflected, and I will show you the posteriorly the testis will have the mediastinal testis. Okay, let me give a little cut onto the head of the epidedymis also. Okay, so I have given the cut into the head of the epidedymis, then only I could go to the mediastinum testis. Okay, this is the cut section of the longitudinally cut section of the testis, which you can see here. Now in this longitudinal cut section of the testis, there is a posterior fibrous connective tissue septa, which is called as the mediastinum. And from the mediastinum you can see this is the coat of the testis, what is called as the tunica albuginea. You can see here, this is the coat. This coat of the testis made up of collagen fibers, and this is tunica albuginea. Now here it is the mediastinum testis, which is posteriorly placed, and it is made up of the connective tissue. Okay, condensation of the connective tissue here. Now from this mediastinum many septa will arise which will go and just fuse with that of the posterior surface of that of the tunica albuginea. You can see one of the septa, I can see here it is going. They are going towards the tunica albuginea starting from the mediastinum testis. Okay, thus this testis is divided into about 200 lobules, small lobes, 200 lobules, okay? And in this lobules about 200, and even it will be more, 250 lobules to up to 300 lobules it is divided. And within the lobules then what you will get that each lobule of this testis in each right and left testis is occupied by the convoluted tubules, which are highly coiled tubules. And these highly coiled tubules which are present in a single lobule, they are about 3 to 4 tubules, and they are called as the seminiferous tubules. And these seminiferous tubules, if I will try to dissect, okay, I may get seminiferous tubules here, okay, and will trying to lift any or one or two seminiferous tubules which are quite long. You see this? This is very delicate here, and in just deep to my this pin head, there are the loops of these tubules are there, and these are the seminiferous tubules are here. Okay, and these seminiferous tubules, they are highly coiled and they are present, and they are few centimeter long. These tubules are few centimeter longs, okay? And as I said that in out of 200 to 300 lobules which are present in each testis, each lobule contains 3 or 2 to 4 seminiferous tubules. Now the seminiferous tubules then become straight near the posterior septum, that is the mediastinum, and then they become the straight part of the seminiferous tubules. This straight part of the seminiferous tubules, okay, which will enter into this mediastinal testis and will anastomose with each other by forming a network of these tubules, okay? And this is called as, this network of the tubule in the mediastinal testis is called as the rete testis. And then from the posterior aspect of the mediastinal testis, this rete testis will give rise to the efferent ductules, and these efferent ductules from then they will come out through the upper pole, near the upper pole of the testis, and will enter into the head of the epidedymis, where they will unite with each other, okay, these efferent ductules, to form the single duct of epidedymis. And this single duct of epidedymis will be highly coiled in the body and the tail of the epidedymis, and then will form the vas deferens, will ascend up from the tail to form a thick muscular, with the thick muscular coat, the vas deferens, which is the main constituent of this spermatic cord. So this is how the testis internal structure looks like. So I have tried to just show you that see this on the tip of this needle, there are the seminiferous, bunch of the seminiferous tubule are there, which are highly convoluted tubules. And these seminiferous tubules, they are lined by the stratified epithelium, and this gives rise to the spermatozoa. That means these are the seminiferous tubules is the site for the formation of the spermatozoa. And this spermatozoa then through the straight tubules and rete testis will go into the epididymis, where this will be stored for and where the maturation of the sperms takes place, okay, before ejaculation. Now if you see the complete length of this seminiferous tubule, it will be almost about 500 meters, okay, in each testis. All if we connect the seminiferous tubule, it is quite long, okay, so they are highly convoluted. Now in between the seminiferous tubules, there is the loose connective tissue is present in each lobules, and within this loose connective tissue between seminiferous tubules there is presence of the endocrine cells of Ladix, which secretes the male sex hormones, okay, male sex hormone. Thus testis is not only responsible for formation of the spermatozoa in seminiferous tubules, but surrounding to seminiferous tubules there are the Leydig cells of which secretes the testosterone or the male sex hormones, okay. Right, coming to this epidedymis, as I have already told you, this is the sinus of epidedymis which lies onto the posterolateral aspect, and there are three parts of epidedymis, that is the head, body and the tail, and tail become continuous with the vas deferens, okay, vas deferens. Now this completes the internal structure of the testes with the help of this book, that is the Theme Dissector. I am one of the author of this book, and I am thankful to the Theme for using this book to show you one diagram from this, and you can see this diagram of the horizontal diagram, cut section, or these are the white septies are going and dividing the testes into the lobules, then straight tubules, rigid testes, and then efferent ductules which will be coiled in the head, and then will form a single duct which will be highly coiled to form the tail of the epidedymis, okay, and then this vas deferens will be formed, okay. So this is the I have shown you the dissection of the internal structure of testes. Thank you very much for watching this internal structure of the testes.